So yeah, here am I taking out some of the older quote-unquote temporary wiring that I put in initially when I was sort of needing to live in the bus and whatnot, but now time to kind of do it properly. Say it's been interesting. Temporary's been a big part of my life here and there, and yeah, the amount of time one spends doing things temporarily versus just doing it properly the first time. But I don't know, trying to find my balance there. But yeah, pulling out some of the old wires and yeah, then going to put in some conduit and hopefully do it properly once and for all. Essentially, I'm going to put some trunking down the middle of the bus underneath. And from there, I'm going to branch off wires to the left and to the right. So this plug here, I'm wanting to take down to the middle and then forward. And then in the corner here, I've got the DB board. And there's a plug at the back there that goes to this plug under the desk. So that's going to go from there under the floor again to the trunking down and that way. And then I've got a plug here under the sink that you saw me take apart that I'm also going to take in to there and back. And I want to keep that plug there on its own trip switch breaker because that's going to run the fridge. So if I go away or something and there's stuff in the fridge, that I can leave that on. And then all the plugs on this side, including this plug, is gonna run on one circuit. This plug here is gonna run on another circuit. As I said, the one under there is gonna run on another circuit for the fridge. And I'm gonna run one from the back, from the water pump. There's one underneath on the outside there. And I wanna put a plug point there that's gonna be on its own breaker. Quite a major one, so for powering Thule 2 or festivals or whatever. Might even be one of those bigger 3-prong power plugs in time. And then I think I want to put one plug on the outside here that I can power outside stuff, laptops or music or whatever one decides to sort of run outside. Yeah, that's the idea. Here am I joining up some cables. It's always a thing trying to estimate how long a cable needs to be and not necessarily getting it right every time. So yeah, joining it. Drilling some holes to put some conduit in to lead from the plugs on the side in towards the central conduit that I'm putting down the middle. And yeah, this is feeding that same piece of conduit from the side of the bus in towards the middle. Groveling around underneath the bus again. Yeah, and this is the section of trunking that I have running down the middle of the bus, and I'm taking all the sections of conduit from the side into that. So I'll just lead the wires from the plugs into the spray, the flexible conduit, and then into that trunking, and then forward to the inverter and the DB board and all that. Some good old faithful, what we call foo-foo, but polyurethane sealant. It's really solid stuff. Oh, and that's the spray going into the side there, and the wire within that. Trying to fit drills and hole saws in small, tight corners is often a thing. but this is the plug point for the washing machine and the plugs by the desk that's coming up also from under the bus. Yeah, what I was saying about temporary earlier has been quite an interesting theme for me over the last few months or even longer. I don't know, time just moves on by and becomes a bit of a blur. But I've often found myself needing to or so-called needing to do things temporarily because I felt I wasn't in a position to do them properly. Yeah, not quite sure what that's about. It's an interesting thing of like trying. It was probably part of that energy also of trying to get something done quickly, so I could do other things in life or something, or some other project, and just needing to quickly get things done. But so often realizing that if you do it temporarily or quickly, it never works out properly. And to rather just take your time to do it properly the first time. But as I said, I think in the first video, bus video, I got the bus and kind of needed to, well, not kind of, I did need to move into it 2 days after getting it. So it was kind of a thing of needing to get it sort of livable from then on. And I guess temporary wiring in that sort of case wasn't necessarily avoidable. But still, like how much, I don't know, I can't say I've figured that whole thing out, but it was a big theme in my life and I'm trying to change it. I'm trying to get behind why it was such a theme. Anyway, this is the little plug point that I'm putting outside the bus, on the driver's side or outside the kitchen area, galley you'd call it if it was a boat. I don't know if this is a boat or a bus, or if a bus uses boat terminology or what, but anyway, this is the little plug point. So I've got a little bench and all sitting there. It's an area that one often finds oneself sitting and doing things. So I thought to have a little PowerPoint there would be cool for, as I said, laptops or music or something like that. Here am I trying to do things neatly and slowly and properly for the first time and not so temporarily, or not at all temporarily. This should be pretty permanent, in fact. Yeah, I think at this point I was also going through this thing of mess, like often how I'd make such a mess with any form of glue or paint or anything, like I'd get it all over the place. So I was also trying to really slow down and become more mindful of working with this kind of thing and not rushing. Even though a lot of this footage is kind of like sped up, at the time it was not so rushed. But yeah, that's the little box glued in now and feeding the wire in, connecting up to the plug. And I don't know if you saw, but a little piece of spray going up into that, I think. Oh no, it's the plug next door. So that other plug box there, that's going to the fridge, which is on the left, and then the stove's on the right, and then there's a link that goes back. Yeah, that's it. It goes back into that little plug box outside. So yeah, that's the plug on the inside for the fridge and the stove. And that other little plug outside's on a different cable, which will go to a different circuit breaker. Back under the bus, groveling around. Yeah, the size and the weight of this stuff is quite wild. Quite wild. I mean, the bus, like mechanics, like yeah, these are the cables coming from the fridge and stove, as well as that little outside plug. So that's what the two wires are. So here we are under the bus, and I've just put this trunking in a bit of a mission, kind of screwing it up there, but this is where I'm going to run the power, both I think the 220 volts for the plugs and 24 volts for the bathroom toilet, which is down that way somewhere, and also, well, I don't know, maybe some cables for some signals and stuff. All going to run down there, and then I try to continue the conduiting down that way, but yeah, there's not enough space, so I've decided I'm gonna take a piece of sprayg, which is a tube, and then run it along that way on this side along with the pipes. Probably one, maybe two tubes, one for the back and then one for the bathroom. So two tubes off this. And anyway, at the front, definitely two tubes to go up to the inverter. So the question was, well, how to neatly connect two tubes onto that. And I thought, well, I will 3D print it. So yeah, I'm probably going to make something sort of with a profile that kind of clips over that, slides on there, we can glue it on there, and then from there it kind of has two tubes that can kind of slide in there. So yeah, I think that's going to be something to draw up and print. The idea is to make a bracket that essentially holds these two bits of conduit like that. So then you can feed the wire down the conduit and through either of the two tubes. So yeah, this is me drawing it up in Fusion 360. I'm finding it a really awesome, very intuitive program, I must say. I'm loving it. I really hack my way through learning new bits of software, and this has been one of them, but really digging it. It's so crazy how you can come up with any sort of idea, and literally within minutes or hours you've got it drawn up on Fusion 360 and export the files and print it, and there it is in its physical form. It's just madness. I don't know, technology really has its place in life. I find it this incredible tool, and it depends how we want to use it. Here we have the front of the bus down this way, the engine and all, and this is the conduit that goes backwards, the electrical conduit goes to the back, should I say. And here we have the 3D printed little bracket I made, and kind of glued onto the end of this piece of sprayg, and then I've got two bits of sprayg going off that way, and they go up to the front of the bus where the inverter and all is. And then here I've got a T that goes off to the plug by the doorway. So yeah, this is the little printed thing glued in place, and as I said, it goes back to the back. I'll show you that now, but that's it, kind of going backwards there. Here we have the trunking coming back. This little piece of pipe goes off to sort of the kitchen area for the fridge and the outside plug, and then continues down, and there's the other little 3D printed adapter thing here, and one of these pipes goes back to the boot, and the other one goes off to the bathroom area for the toilet and things, and this one here goes off to the desk and the washing machine and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, they kind of go back there like that. Oh wow, okay. Well, that's the end of this video, it seems. I thought there was more to that. But yeah, it's still to do the DB board and all that, but we'll do that in time. I took a break from busing and in Cape Town at the moment, but we'll return in time. Hope you enjoyed. Lots of love, and we'll catch you soon. It's not too late, wait to contemplate.